India's culture refers to a group of small distinct civilizations. Clothing, festivals, languages, religions, music, dance, architecture, food, and art are all part of Indian culture. Most notably, various foreign civilizations have affected Indian culture throughout its history. India is home to 1.4 billion people, almost one-sixth of the world's population, who belong to a variety of ethnicities and religions. While 94% of the world's Hindus live in India, there also are substantial populations of Muslims, Christians, Sikhs, Buddhists, Jains and adherents of folk religions. Now let's go to the subject. Hello all friends, don't skip. Before skip you need to know something. Now current topic is science in Hinduism, myth or fact. Welcome to Indian Talks. Science in Hinduism is one of the most debated topics. Some Hindus believe that ancient Hindu science was more advanced than modern science, while some say it is pseudoscience. If we read Hindu scriptures with an open mind and look at Hindu traditions positively, we find that there is ample evidence to prove that there is definitely some science in Hinduism. A few years back, traditions in Hinduism were considered superstitions, but with the advent of science, it is becoming evident that these traditions are based on some scientific knowledge and transmitted from generation to generation as traditions. Many ancient Hindu sages were scientists also. E.g., sage Agastya invented a dry battery thousands of years ago. Though the common people did not know about science in Hinduism, they followed it religiously over the years. This article is an attempt to bring forward the science in Hinduism. Ancient rishis, which were scientists actually, did not tell the common people about the science involved in these traditions but instead related them with God and religion so that they would benefit from them. Why every Hindu should have a tulsi plant in front of his/her house. The Latin name of the tulsi plant is Ocimum sanctum. It is also called holy basil. For thousands of years, tulsi has been worshipped by Hindus. It is considered a sacred plant and it is necessary for every Hindu family to have a tulsi plant in front of their house. Recent studies have shown that the tulsi plant releases ozone, O3, along with oxygen, which is very essential for ecological balance. World Ozone Day is celebrated on the 16th of September of every year, at which time some environmental organizations distribute tulsi plants in large numbers. Besides that, tulsi has lots of medicinal uses and is a very important herb according to Ayurveda. Tulsi leaves strengthen our immune system. So, the tulsi leaves are mainly used for treating fever, common cold, cough, sore throat, and respiratory disorders. Therefore, I think not only Hindus but all of us should have a tulsi plant in front of our house. We get the human body after our soul passes through 8,400,000 species. Hindus believe we get a human body after our soul passes through 8,400,000 species. Initially, critics of Hinduism used to say that this is just a myth, so many species do not exist. But with the advent of science, it is revealed that there are about 8,400,000 species on the earth. So, the above statement is symbolic of the fact that a human being is born through evolution and we human beings are at the most advanced stage of evolution. The theory of the atom was first put forth by an Indian scientist, Kanada. We learn in science textbooks that everything in this universe is made up of atoms, i.e., an atom is the smallest part of the matter, and this theory was first put forth by Dalton. Hence, the theory is known as Dalton's atomic theory. But this theory was first put forth by an Indian scientist Kanada before 500 BC. It is not just a rumor but it is a proven fact. The evidence is there to prove this, but still, the credit goes to Dalton and not to Kanada. The sun is stationary. We now know that the sun is stationary and the earth revolves around it. This fact is stated in Aitreya Brahmanas, which could date to the 6th century BCE. A verse from Aitreya Brahmanas 2.7 is as follows. The sun never really sets or rises. In that they think of him, he is setting, having reached the end of the day. He inverts himself, thus he makes evening below, day above. Again in that, they think of him, he is rising in the morning, having reached the end of day. Night he inverts himself, thus he makes day below, night above. He never sets, indeed he never sets. This verse is not metaphorical. It clearly states that the sun doesn't set or rise, but it seems the composer did not know that the earth revolves around the sun and therefore day and night happen. He assumes the sun inverts himself and that causes days and nights. Time is different on different planets. In Hindu scriptures, it is mentioned that one day of Lord Brahma is equivalent to 8.64 billion human years. Also, one divine year, a year of gods, is equivalent to 360 human years. It proves that Hindus know since ancient times that time is different on different planets. The 10 incarnations of Lord Vishnu are very similar to Darwin's theory of evolution. A. Matsya, fish, animals in the water like fish are born. B. Kurma, tortoise, animals who can live both on land and in water are born. C. Varaha, boar, herbivorous animals are born. D. Narsimha, lion, carnivorous animals are born. E. Vamana, dwarf people are born. F. Parashuram, man with an axe, people started using iron age. G. Rama, man with bow and arrow, people developed skills using semi-modern weapons like bow and arrow. H. Krishna, clever man with Sudarshan Chakra, people became shrewd and started using more advanced weapons, heralding Kali Yuga. I. Buddha, who has attended wisdom, people became clever and started advancing to the modern age. J. Kalki, very advanced human beings, both technologically and genetically. The Big Bang theory is inspired by the Hiranyagarbha mentioned in the Rig Veda. According to Hindu scriptures, the universe was created from an egg that is called Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbha means a golden womb or egg. The Sanskrit word for the universe is Brahmana, which means an egg of Brahma, or an expanding egg. The Hiranyagarbha separated into two to form the sky and the earth. According to some models of the Big Bang theory, the initial singularity is a singularity that contains all the matter, energy, and space-time. The universe that we see today was once squished into an infinitely small, dense, and ultra-hot point. This initial singularity is nothing but a supermassive black hole that engulfs the whole universe at the end. Bacteriophages in the Ganges water kill harmful bacteria. Ganga is the holiest river of Hindus and they believe that bathing in its waters removes sins. It has been found that the Ganges water contains viruses called bacteriophages that kill harmful bacteria in the water. They survive only in the Ganges. Ancient sages knew this and they gave the river the status of a goddess and the holiest river. It is one of the solid pieces of evidence that there is definitely some science in Hinduism. Similarities between a Shiva Lingam and a nuclear reactor. The shape of a Shiva Lingam is similar to a nuclear power plant. The axial view of a Damaru, a musical instrument, of Lord Shiva also looks somewhat like a containment building of a nuclear reactor. The base of a lingam looks similar to a round structure at the bottom of a nuclear reactor containment building that is used to dispose of polluted water. Water is used to cool a nuclear reactor. In the same way, water dribbles on a Shiva Lingam from a vessel hung over it. Also, Hindus pour water and milk on top of it. Most nuclear reactors are built near an abundant source of water. Many Lord Shiva temples are found near an abundant sources of water, especially rivers. Lord Shiva is known as a destroyer. A nuclear reactor can also be used for destruction. It is scientifically proved that an extract of bell leaf, Agal Mamalose, reduces the symptoms of radiation-induced sickness and increases the survival of the victim. Hindus offer bell leaves on a Shiva Lingam as they are favorites of Lord Shiva. Chitragupta and the near-death experience. Life review is a phenomenon that happens during near-death experiences in which people see the summary of their lives in a flash. Interestingly, in Hinduism, there is a god named Chitragupta who keeps records of the good and bad karma of people and decides whether the person would go to hell or heaven. Do you know what the name Chitragupta means? It means, one who secretly takes pictures. It implies that since ancient times Hindus were aware of this phenomenon that modern science discovered recently. The concept of the multiverse is mentioned in the Hindu scriptures. Some scientists believe that there are many universes like the one we are living in. The same concept is mentioned in many Hindu texts. Every universe is covered by 7 layers: earth, water, fire, air, sky, the total energy, and false ego. Each 10 times greater than the previous one. There are innumerable universes besides this one, and although they are unlimitedly large, they move about like atoms in you. Therefore you are called unlimited. Bhagavata Purana 6.16.37. Pushpaka Vamana, a mind-controlled airplane. In the Valmiki Ramayana, it is said that Pushpak Vimana moves about by thoughts of a concentrated mind, Sundarakanda, chapter 8. Initially, it was thought to be impossible, but now scientists have successfully engineered airplanes that can be controlled with the brain. Sage Agastya invented dry batteries and electricity thousands of years ago. In an ancient text, Agastya Samhita, Sage Agastya gives details about how to make a dry battery. The world is a hologram. Recently, some scientists are claiming that the universe that we live in is a hologram. What it means is that the information that makes up what we perceive as a 3D reality is stored on a 2D surface, including time. This means, essentially, everything you see and experience is an illusion. In Hinduism, there is a concept of Maya in Advaita philosophy. Maya originally denoted the magic power with which a god can make human beings believe in what turns out to be an illusion. Rukma Vimana and modern spacecrafts. Recently, SpaceX took 4 passengers into Earth orbit in a spacecraft named Crew Dragon. In Vamanika Shastra, a book on aviation, there is a design of an airplane named Rukma Vimana. The text was revealed in 1952 by G.R. Josiah, who asserted that it was written by Pandit Subbaraya Shastri, 1866-1940, who dictated it during the years 1918-1923. The first spacecraft was launched in 1957. You can see that these designs look very similar. So how could a Pandit in India imagine the design of a spacecraft 34 years before the launch of the first spacecraft? Can it just be a coincidence? I don't think so, because airplanes are mentioned in Hindu texts thousands of years before even modern science imagined them. All the scientific things mentioned is not, and there are few more in this world of science. Now you can believe what perspective you like. Myth or fact. I hope you enjoyed. Subscribe.